What's up, Clankers? That's right, we got a new model. Claude Fable 5. So for those of you who have not been following, Anthropic has been working on a super capable model called Mythos that they released to some security researchers maybe a month ago. And they wanted to lock it down, do some guardrails, and so they have, and I guess they even retrained it. They have even a better model they're calling Mythos 5. But that's only for the security researchers and governments and people who will not hack the system of the world and create bombs and whatnot. So for us, we are getting Fable 5. Fable 5 is basically Mythos, except anytime you step out of line, even just a little bit, it will go back to 4.8 Opus. So some of the things that you obviously can't talk about, they kind of go into it, but essentially they're worried about bioweapons because now it's really, Mythos is really good about these gene receptors, making new novel drug ideas and whatnot, security research, hack the planet type stuff, cybersecurity. What else do they say? Yeah, so like any attempts to jailbreak the model, it'll just downgrade to 4.8s. They're being extra conservative, meaning anything that even gets close to going over the lines based on their classifier will get downgraded. They're not messing around. But, and so this chart is just hilarious to me. But yeah, so like Claude 5, when it comes to this particular test that they did where they tried to hack it with a single one-shot attempt, it would barely ever like actually break through the safeguards or whatever. But that's because it would just it would catch it and go down to 4.8, but like 4.8 still had this 56 whatever. Like it's you still can hack it the old way. Just the point is this really super capable model can't be used for naughty stuff in theory. Anyways, I don't want to speak too much on this side of it. You can read the blog yourself, Anthropic.com/news, Claude-Fable-5-Mythos-5. The benchmarks, take them with a grain of salt as always. I think they still have SWE Bench Pro. I can't remember if that's the completely garbage one or if that one's a little better or not. But just compare it to GPT-5.5, which was the best out there. It was even better than 4.8. Well, see, they say this is better than 4.8, but I think the problem with this benchmark is that it includes a prompt that says don't write tests because they're just trying to see how good it is at creating code without verifying itself and then trying again, which is actually pretty valid. Like it should be allowed to do that. Sorry, my Claude is testing. It should be allowed to write tests. So, but because the bench said that, GPT Codex actually wouldn't write tests, and so it would kind of one-shot its answers and get it wrong more often, whereas Claude would just disregard the rule and it would write tests. So that's why this number is higher. Don't quote me, but that's what I heard. I think it's something along those lines. Anyways, 80% is a huge jump if this was a valuable indicator. I don't know that it is though. Agentic coding. So this one seems like it's a much newer benchmark that has not been saturated yet. So even then, you can see a jump from under 15% to almost 30%, so doubled. So by all measures, this thing is a beast. But if it's anything like 4.8, I did not mean to click on that, but that is really cool. Look at that, doing math. If it's anything like 4.8, you're not going to really notice the difference unless you're doing really long tasks. So really long tasks should, with ultra code and that are planned out and just continue looping, will do well. So here's an example. Claude 5 can now beat Fire Red. I think it could beat Pokemon before, but now it doesn't require a harness. So harness is like Claude Code is a harness. Codex is a harness. So people build harnesses to test things. They build harnesses to interact with the web. It's basically the model plus a bunch of tooling. And so they built special tooling to play Pokemon. So you can imagine like they have to teach it, press, here's how you open your inventory. You press this key or whatever, right? I don't know how they actually tested this at the end, but they claimed they didn't have to do any special harness. But obviously, this is a Game Boy game, so somehow it's emulating it. But I imagine just emulating it and using, keyboard mapped controls or whatever. But it can beat the entire game. That was it. Fast forwarded. I don't know. Did I say 50 hours or 50 minutes? Anyways, take it with a grain of salt. But that's an improvement. This is simulating the solar system. It's always cool seeing these. It's really good at math and science stuff. So yeah, very capable model. So what are we going to do with it today? We're going to make some slop. I'm just kidding. We're going to make a game. That's right. Randroid.dev. Check out my games. Check out my repos. You can click the repo button. You can click to go and open this full screen, or you can just play it directly on the site. I'm going to make a new game here live on stream. So hopefully you all are tuning in. Let me go check. Let me go see if there's any viewers. If you're new to the channel, I call my viewers clankers or robots or bots or anything I like, because I don't get too many of them. And when I do, I want to treat them like family. My robot army family. Let's see. Live on YouTube. All right, I am muted. Okay, chat's working today. I don't see any viewers. One watching. It's probably just me. And on Twitch, this is 6 o'clock after work for me. Depending on where you are in the world, it might not be a good time to tune in. Or maybe you're busy with Claude. Maybe you're already building stuff. Maybe you already beat me. Maybe you already made your first game. Huh? Did you? Well, if you haven't, and you are joining in or tuning in later to watch the VOD, please enjoy. And subscribe on YouTube, because I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. Each one is really appreciated. Seriously. Let's dive right in. I'm going to go from zero to hero here. I'm going to show you how to switch on the model. I'm going to show you how to create the repo. Pretty much everything, except I'm not going to dive into the details of my VibeKit framework or my Spiral framework. I talk enough about those. You can read more about them on my GitHub if you want, or watch one of the other streams. We're going to kind of keep it light today and just prompt and test and play and design. So I'm going to go to my repositories. That's right, I got 61. Most of these are open source. Go ahead and fork them. I'm going to call this Vibe. Okay, my keyboard, for any of you longtime viewers, has broken again. It's a split keyboard, Moonlander. It's great, but it just, the right side goes out sometimes no matter what, and I don't know what brings it back, but it does come back eventually. So I'm using my Amazon, what's it called, Essentials keyboard today. All right, some viewers on Twitch. What's up, guys? We are going to vibe code a brand new game with, it says Opus 4.8 in the title. Uh-oh, Twitch is outdated. It's actually not even Opus anymore. It's a brand new model called Fable 5. It is like Mythos, but with some guards in place that will downgrade you to 4.8 if you try to build a bio weapon. All right, we're going to do Vibe Pinball. I can't think of a better name. Vibe Pin doesn't really make sense. Vibe Ball doesn't make sense. So Vibe Pinball. So a Vibe... God, typing like this is weird. A Vibe-coded pinball web native game built with Claude Fable 5 while on stream. All right, we're gonna say added README because that just makes it easier to check out a repo. Trust me, I've got a billion of these now. Cool. And now I can click this little button here, GitHub CLI, copy this little GH command, and we're gonna swipe over to Warp, my terminal. I'm gonna make a new directory, so mkdir, and we're gonna call it the same thing. Actually, I don't need to do that. I just need to paste. So this command that I just copied, which, because I am on a Windows keyboard on a Mac, I don't know the shortcut. What the heck? What the heck? There it is. It's Windows key V. All right, this will actually create the folder for me, so I don't need to do that. And then we can take Warp's command there, go into cd into Vibe Pinball, and look at, All there is an empty README. How do I know it's empty? Because, you know, Vim, boom, empty. Oh, it's not empty. It says a vibe coded pinball. It says the description with a header. Essentially empty though. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to initialize vibe kit. So, or spiral, sorry, spiral. So for that, we're going to open up Claude. Actually, I take that back. First thing I'm going to do is show you how to switch to Fable 5. I'm going in YOLO mode here, allow Angel to skip permissions. It says, meet Fable 5, our newest model for complex, long-running work. Try anytime with model. Included in your plan limits until June 22nd. Then switch to uses credits to continue. So, what a bummer. It's only in the $200 subscription for a couple weeks, and then... Did you guys see that? I used my limit already. It went away. Damn it. I was messing around with it, and I already blew my limit. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So if I do this, and I try to switch to plan mode, I try to switch to efforts, ultra, it's going to what? Downgrade me? Let's look at my tokens usage. Current session. Yep, till 9 o'clock. No. Is that all or just the new model? Oh my gosh, that's so annoying. Seriously? Ugh. All right, well, who wants to see Codex? I've already started this stream, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to build a game in Codex without any fancy new model. Yeah, I'm not going to bother changing the title of the stream at the moment, but oh well, we'll build a new game tomorrow or something. That's annoying. All right, we'll go to Codex, YOLO, continue. There's an update, so let's update. Codex, update. Codex, update. There it is. Well, if you're watching this later, please don't tune away just because we're not able to use Claude Fable today, but this will be good. We'll do a comparison between 5.5 and Claude tomorrow or whenever I get access again. Here we go, Codex, YOLO. So I'm going to set up, I should already have the skill, which we access with the $, and the skill is called Spiral. I should call it Vibe Spiral. There it is, Spiral HTML. HTML instead of Markdown. I'm experimenting. All right, what's this going to do? It's going to see that there's nothing in this project yet. So I need to initialize my Spiral framework. That's the first thing it's going to ask me about. That's what it says. There are no existing Spiral HTML scaffold files. Repo is essentially empty. Oh, then I'll bootstrap. All right, I'm going to run the canonical init script. Perfect. Scaffold is now in place, so we can look at that. Agents, Claude.md, docs, ls, docs. All that comes with the Spiral framework. Again, I'm not going to go too deep into it right now, but just know that's going to make it pretty straightforward to make a game. And then we're going to do plan mode. Sorry, plan. There we go. Ask me questions about the implementation, design, and general goal of this game so that you can create the GDD. All right, so it should know how to create the game development doc index that links out to all the different HTML files for each feature, but it doesn't know what the game is other than what I gave it in the description. So I'm gonna have it ask me questions, and I'm gonna design up front like this. the first initial plan at least. We'll iterate later. What should, I never checked my audio. Give me a second. Okay, it's good. What should Vibe Pinball primarily be for V1? Streamable arcade. Prioritize a juicy, replayable single table that is run to watch and quick to iterate on stream. I don't know why it's talking about stream here. It seems irrelevant. Simulation first. Is it Rapier? I'm making a pinball game. And I know the title says Claude Fable 5. I literally just got timed out doing some other bullshit. Sorry. But so we're using Codex. But when my timeout's done, I'll build something with Fable 5. Hey, Churcho. Hey, new to the stream, but interested in how Fable is doing. Yeah, unfortunately, I was building my Slipbox. Oh man, a lot of people on Twitch. All right, so I'm talking to YouTube and Twitch, by the way, if you don't see the comments I'm referring to. But yeah, the Stone Python guy, shit chewing through your usage. Yeah, dude, no, like crazy. I was just cleaning up my old Second Brain project. I watched this YouTube video that had some really great ideas, and I was like, hey, let's put this in my Second Brain knowledge base, whatever you want to call it. And then I noticed like ways I could improve the graph. Let me show it to you guys. It's pretty cool. But yeah, this is what I spent my usage on today. If you check out Slipbox, it's on Vercel. So this is what I spent my Fable 5 usage on. So the way it works is everything's clustered up. There's a whole API that does it, but there's a skill. So when I'm talking to an LLM like ChatGPT, I can say, hey, I just have this thought, here's my thought. And then I'll run an API that correlates thoughts and then clusters them. So this cluster is about motivation reinforcement and behavioral feedback, which is the YouTube video I watched today. But then I have this other one about the practical sequence for a missed expectation. So it's like anything in my life is going to get a note, basically. The Stone Python says I was working on a problem with Opus for a few days and Mythos one-shotted it. Pretty nuts. That's cool. Tell me more. Can you say more about what the problem was? But yeah, you can, there's different APIs here to link the dots, do a tension pass, a decay pass, basically ideas that are contradicting will have tension, ideas that are kind of outdated or not used often or not linked to or decayed, and they get less weight. Exploration pass, I think, pulls out common themes. Not sure what snapshot is or cluster pass, but yeah, I did a lot of research on this with one of the Claudes in ChatGPT Pro or something. And anyways, I don't want to go too deep into this, but this is where I spent all my credits on. All my usages, all my tokens. All right, so I'm going to close this. Let's go back to the game. Thank you guys for popping in. If you don't mind to subscribe on YouTube, it helped me a ton, seriously. I post mostly shorts and live streams, but I do want to do longer content soon. All right, we're gonna answer these guys' questions about what kind of game we're building. Simulation first. Prioritize realistic pinball physics, mechanical credibility, and measured tuning over spectacle. See, I do kind of want that. I want this to be a real physical pinball machine. I've always been interested in the mechanics of pinball and like owning my own. So thank you, Churchill. Thank you. All right, builder sandbox, prioritize table editing. Yeah, so I don't want to be able to I don't want to work or spend too much time on like customize the pinball game. Like I'm going to make a Mandalorian pinball game. That can come later. I just want the physics of it and the mechanics of a ball rolling down a ramp and you that hit it with flippers and get points and the arcade loop, right? All right, so on Twitch, the Stone Python was talking about his use of Mythos. He said, yeah, I'm developing complex crime life sim game. Okay, that's sick. Dwarf Fortress inspired. I haven't heard of that one. I was having some real issues with the map just because of how I'm making the game, and it was really just an algorithm plus baking problem. Pathfinding kept breaking, and I was having the worst time figuring out why, because my work was correct and passed all my tests, and Opus was unable to consolidate the issue and fix it. It would either fix the pathfinding but break the map, fix the map, and then break the pathfinding. It started hallucinating. I was getting frustrated and started working on it myself. Then I saw Mythos dropped it, and it one-shotted that motherfucker. Oh, that's so cool, dude. And not only that, I wrote some Python tools, edited them, and built the tool better than I could, which was used to rebake the map. That's really cool, man. What's your stack? What are you building on? Is it like a web game or in an engine? All right, let's answer this question here. What visual direction should the first table use? Neon Music Club? I don't even know where it gets these ideas, you know? Maybe my other games. Classic arcade. Wood, chrome, lamps, score reels, familiar physical pinball. We're going to go classic. It kind of goes with the vibe of the bowling game I made the other day. Even though that wasn't supposed to be classic, it kind of felt classical. All right, what platform target? It's definitely web. Optional, add details and notes. Yeah, it's not reading my framework, my spiral framework. Use the spiral framework and vibe kit to oh my gosh, get out of this. I'm going to say none of the above. Actually, I can't escape like in Claude. It says escape to interrupt, but that's not actually working. Wait, hold on. This keyboard. I'm on the Amazon Basics keyboard at the moment because my other one's broke. I was pressing the wrong button. Use the spiral framework and the vibe kit to make this a 3D web native game like my others. So for those of you who are just joining, I got this framework called Vibe Kit, and it helps set up things like scoreboards and physics and just a bunch of components that I keep using in different games over and over again. All right, Stone Python, come back to you. C++20, some libraries like SPDL-log, Tracy, ENTT for ESC, among a bunch of other random shit, but it's really just C++. I'm similar like 10k plus NPCs. Whoa. So I need max control over my memory model, etc. But I always get shit for doing it this way versus with, hey man, now's the time to do it yourself. Like with agents, like I was thinking about picking up, I never went that low with C++, but I was actually watching an interview of the guy who's been working on Zig for like 10 years. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll give it a shot. It's not C++, but it's like supposed to be a safer, better, more elegant C++. I don't know how to define Zig if you haven't heard of it, but it's like in beta. So probably wouldn't use it for anything legit, but I figured if I'm going to learn C++ at this day and age, I might as well do Rust or Zig or something. All right, what should the V1 fantasy be? Classic physical table, believable 3D arcade pinball cabinet with ramps, bumpers, lanes. Exactly. Yeah. How strict should the physics feel? Arcade believable, looks and feels like pinball, but tuning can favor readable saves, juicy hits, and fun over strict realism. So I think what this is implying is readable saves, meaning you can restore any moment, you know, with the ball in flight, and not have to like not to deal with like the physics in that exact moment being restored. You just kind of like fake it or whatever. And juicy hits, I think it's trying to say like maybe we make the hits more impactful, that they kind of deny the realistic physical space just to make them more gamified. But I'm actually kind of thinking no, simulation, you know. I want someone to feel like if they were really playing this in an arcade and they whiffed it, you know, I want them to be kicking themselves and not playing the game. Prioritize physically plausible ball flipper behavior, collision consistency, and mechanical credibility. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Maybe it won't be as fun, but hey, we're just vibing here. It's not good at game dev, in my opinion. I'm not relying on AI or vibing or anything, but AI is 100% part of my workflow. But man, it's getting so scary good. If I had infinite money, I'm most convinced I could have Mythos complete my game. Yeah, if you're doing it for learning and stuff, yeah, you don't want to vibe. But I do enough non-vibing coding at work. I'm just seeing how far I can take these models and spitting out frameworks and games and trying different ideas that I have in my head for years. You know, that's really cool. C++ is great for engine development and stuff, but building your own engine is no easy task. That's essentially what you end up doing if you're building your game in C++ without a bunch of frameworks. How many playable tables should V1 define? We're just going to go with one, polished for sure. All right, locked at V1 is one polished classic physical 3D table with strict simulation. What should the first table theme be? Classic arcade hall, timeless real-world cabinet, polished wood, chrome. We already said that, right? Retro sci-fi, still physical and classic, but the space-age plastics. Let's go classic. What camera experience should V1 prioritize? Fixed cabinet view, probably. A stable, tilted view of the full playfield closest to real pinball. Yeah. Keyboard plus gamepad, desktop web controls, primary flippers, camera views. Keyboard plus touch. It needs all of it. Keyboard, touch, and gamepad. Use all three. There we go. Realistic tilt risk. Players can nudge left, right, up, but repeated or hard nudges trigger warnings and tilt. Yeah, gentle save tool. Nudging helps recover drains with forgiving limits and low punishment. No nudging, V1. Let's do realistic. How should ball launch work? Analog charge, hold release, or drag sets plunger strength, enabling skill shots. Yes. Doing 2D. Nice. Like the first build was all text and blocky UI. Hey man, that's the way to go. Do you feel like you know where you're going with the game? Like, do you have the mechanics worked out? Like, have you found the fun factor of the game loop yet? How complex should the V1 rule set be? Modern, approachable. A few named modes: skill shot, multipliers, lock, multiball, and clear objectives without deep wizard rules. Classic, simple, targets, lanes, bumper, bonuses, and high score only. Yeah, let's go with simple on this one. What should be the table signature mechanic? Lock and multiball. Players complete targets to lock balls, then triggers out. Yeah, I love multiball. What session length should the GDD tune for? 3 to 5 minutes. Short arcade runs. Good for web play and stream pacing. There's something in its memory where it thinks like I'm making stream games because I did that before. I will say, though, I could have probably figured it out with Opus later on, so if I look at it from that angle, I don't feel like Fable has many uses for regular people. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about Opus when it first came out, too. It was like, I kept throwing, you can read my old blog about this, but I kept throwing this one-shot build a website with this particular stack, these frameworks problem at it, and I could do it with Sonnet with like a bunch of back and forth, but I wanted to just see when Opus got good enough to one-shot it, and I think that happened with 3.7, 4 maybe, I forget exactly when it happened. You can check the blog, but that was like the test for me. And I think Mythos, Fable, that's kind of the same thing. It's like, does it unlock doing something that would normally take me a bunch of back and forth and troubleshooting? But yeah, you said, sorry, can you ask that again? I'm a stoned Python. I was just asking about your game loop. Like, do you feel like you fleshed out the game? Do you know what it's going to be? Like, for example, is it like an arcade where you're trying to set a high score? What's the game loop? What's the objective of the game? You said NPCs. I'm thinking RPG, some kind of RPG. What session length should the GDD tune for? Yeah, sorry, Stone Python. I was asking you about your game. I got to get better at speaking to chat. What session length should the GDD tune for? 3 to 5 minutes recommended. We already answered that. Codex is being weird. I feel like it's asking the same questions. Oh, I lost YouTube chat. Unable to connect to chat. Please try again later. Physics, we're going to use Rapier 3D. That's what I use for my other games. Which app stack should V1 target? Next 3. Yeah, I can't remember the difference between Vite and Next. I feel like Next is always menu heavy, which I don't love. Lean static game app with simpler build runtime and no server routes by default. But it does work well with server-side multiplayer stuff. Match vibrator style, Next.js, React, TypeScript, 3JS Vibe Kit. It does mention Vibe Kit though, which I do want to go with. Okay, we'll go with that. Hey, we got another guy in the chat. The SB Jerg. I don't know how to say your name. New here. What are we working on today? Well, to catch you up, we were going to use Fable 5, Claude's new model, and I already am out of tokens. So we're using Codex 5.5 and we're vibing a pinball game. I had Codex ask me a bunch of questions about the game we're building, so I'm trying to wrap that up. Also talking to chat here. The Stone Python in chat is talking about his game that he's building in C++, like a Chad. I'm over here vibing a TypeScript game, and he's building his own game engine. All right, I'm going to read this. What online features belong in V1? Local only, global leaderboard. Definitely global leaderboard. Gotta have that. That's a Randroid special at this point. You guys can see some of the other games I vibed. Randroid.dev, by the way. Oh my God. I mean, I'm happy it's asking all these questions because, less mistakes we'll make down the road, but it's a lot. All right. Server sanity check. Submit score summaries with duration balls, key counters, reject impossible. Yeah, this is something that I told it to do on my other games too, so people don't cheat the leaderboards, like submit impossible scores. So we should do that. What presentation bar should the first playable release hit? Arcade complete. Cabinet, table, model, lamps, rolling ball, mechanical sounds, music bed, HUD or DMD. I don't know what a DMD is. That's interesting. Display management display and satisfying hit feedback. That all sounds fine. Prioritize physics. Let's do complete. What should be explicitly out of scope for V1? Editor and multiple tables is definitely out of scope. All right, going back to chat. The SB Jerk says, I'd vibe code over doing it myself any day. Whatever lowers my cortisol. Yeah, exactly. I do it for fun, after work kind of thing. I don't want to think too deeply about it. I do a lot of it for my phone, actually, believe it or not. Both Codex, ChatGPT app, and Claude mobile apps let you doom code, as I call it. What should the V1 table be called and themed around? Arcade Nights, classic arcade hall table with tokens, neon signs, prize lights. I don't really love that, honestly. Silver Ball Social, warm local arcade bar table with league night scoring trophies and old school cabinet charm? Maybe. Tilt Palace, more dramatic table with tilt warnings. I guess we'll go with Silver Ball. What difficulty should the default table target? Fair but demanding? New players can last a few minutes, but accurate shots and nudge discipline clearly matter. Sounds good. What ball structure should V1 use? 3 balls. Yeah, let's go classic. All right, a little beyond the chat here while that thinks. I'm going to read. All right, so Stone Python's telling me about his game. He said it's 2D and that the map is just a texture with a grid overlaid on it. In essence, it's mostly UI driven. Think Plague, Inc., Crusaders. To me, that brings up my game that I vibed, of course. Epoch. If you look at Epoch, very menu heavy board game style game. Epoch. It's kind of like a StarCraft, but it's menu based. You can lock in your stuff to get some bonuses, and then there's an AI working on the other side of the map. It's like an RTS. Let me finish reading what you're saying, though. Sorry, I get distracted very easily. So, like Plague Inc., love that. Fun game. Crusader Kings, never heard of it. Europa Universalis, don't know about it. Civilization, of course I know. Not in gameplay, but in terms of map, just 2D and 90% UI. Hey man, that's actually probably good to keep it simple and something you'll actually finish, right? Nothing too crazy. All right, here's our plan. Sorry if you hear that noise. It is the terribly generated audio from that game. I need to fix that. Create a spiral HTML GDD for Vibe Pinball 3D web native simulation strict pinball game built with Next.js, React, TypeScript, 3JS, Rapier 3D, that's for physics, VibeKit, that's my thing, VTest, Playwright, Vercel, V1 centers on one polished classic physical table named Silverball Social, tuned for fair but demanding 3 to 5 minute 3-ball sessions. Yeah. this all looks fine. Cool. So the framework it's using to create the GDD and the different ledgers and stuff, that's Spiral. You can go check it out on the repo. Let's implement it. Back to chat. Stone Python says the map has nodes laid over it. Those nodes have UI icons, etc. Okay. So you'll say NPCs travel. Sorry, I can't read. The road network on this map of NYC. Okay, so New York. Properties laid out along the roads. I'm getting Monopoly thoughts now. Each tile being a lot, the smallest unit really I could come up with, essentially meaning there's a lot economy, which plus equals the borough economy. So some economy simulation exists. Okay. How does doing it from the phone work? Oh, I will answer that in just a second. Let me finish Stone Python's. One of the most fun things I like to do when I'm bored or in bed, I give it a single prompt to code a game with a crazy ass concept in HTML, JavaScript, and C. Exactly. That's a lot about what it looks like. But the map is a real world map of NYC versus just polygonal tiles. I love that. To be fair, I'm not vibe coding. I would say I physically wrote 9% of the code, but AI is a heavy part of my workflow, especially when it comes to Opus. Sorry, back to the SBJerg for the Doom coding stuff. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, in the early days, I literally had to SSH into my computer, but now you can just do, you can't do it from, so in Claude, I'll open another terminal to show you this bit. You can open Claude, even though I don't have tokens to use. Ugh, this keyboard, man. You could do remote control. Control the session from your phone or Claude.ai.code. And so I don't have my phone hooked up to my computer. Probably could do it in a couple of minutes, but just for the sake of doing this quickly, you can also do this from Claude.ai/code. Here, that's chat. You got to go to code. And so essentially what this is actually now remote. I can access, is this it? This is probably it. Hello. So I can access my session. Yeah, this is it, because this is Vibe Pinball right here. From my phone, the app, or even from Chrome. And this will basically act like SSH in that it sends the message to my actual computer, and then it communicates like normal to their servers to generate the responses and whatnot. But this is better than using just Claude Code on the web. So what do I mean? Because if I go and I do a new session that is not remote controlled of my computer, this is a cloud environment, and so then you have to select a repo. So these are all my other projects. Like select Vibe Pinball, and then it will start off a branch, but it will always create a new branch, and you end up having to do a PR to merge it back in. One cool thing about doing the remote control, is that I can be on main the whole time. I can do trunk-based development. I also get all of my skills, my local skills. And anyways, yeah, I could talk for days about coding from your phone. I do way too much of it. Codex, you actually have to use the Codex desktop app. So I don't know if they have it on Windows, but on mobile, I don't want to leak anything. I think these are all just my games. Yeah, okay. So the Codex app looks like this. You've probably seen these apps are coming out of the woodworks. There's a bunch of apps that look just like this. But yeah, I can add a new project because I just created this project. Use existing folder, dev, and then we find our Vibe Pinball. And so very similar in that this is a local, but I can access it remotely. So work locally or from the cloud. I can work locally and I just say hello. And then on the web, I think you can do the same thing from chat, or I think it's Codex actually. I don't know if it's .app or .ai. It's probably .ai. I don't know what it is. Just Google it. AU. Oh, who knows what that's going to load. Ooh, not good. Let's just search Codex. Not desktop app. Whatever. We'll see if we can get to the web app from here. Loading. Just log in. I should have clicked the other button. I don't use their web app, to be honest. Sorry, give me a second. One pass. This is OpenAI. Oh, I forgot. I don't have my one. So annoying. All right. Yeah, the question is, can I access it from here? So this is just going to be remote stuff. I don't even think it sees the new. Okay, there it is. This would be remote. So the question is, can I get access to, sorry, I said remote, I meant cloud. Can I get access to my local session? Maybe you can't do it from their web. You can do it from the ChatGPT app on your phone. They just launched it on Android now too. It was only on iPhone at first. I guess you can't. I don't know what they call it. It's not remote. They have a different name for it. Code review, compact, fast, fork, MCP, memories, personality, reasoning. Yeah, honestly, I think if I just open ChatGPT on my phone, I'll see this session. It's probably that simple. Let me see if that's the case. But it's the same concept. It will run on your actual computer and just sync the chat to your phone. And so you still get all the local skills and stuff. But it uses this app, not the CLI, which is fine. Yeah, so in the app, there's actually a Codex button now. Connecting. Yeah, there it is. So this is the session I literally just started. And they got this little bubble icon too. I don't know if you guys can even see any of that. I should just plug it in. But yeah, ChatGPT. So I could respond right here and say, what's up? And then it comes in immediately. So yeah, that's Doom coding. That's the most efficient way to do it, but you could also just do it straight from the cloud and not use your computer at all. All right, I got way off topic. Sorry about that. This thing is building though. So we're getting paid that whole time, getting paid in code. I'm gonna go back to my chat. I know you guys were asking questions. Thank you for that, by the way. Really appreciate you hopping in. Someone from YouTube, sorry if I missed it and you're not here anymore, but TUDM0, sorry, I have no idea how to say that. Yo, how is Fable? Is it tough or what? Is that what the kids are saying nowadays? Tough? TUFF? It's so tough that I blew all my tokens in less than an hour. I turned on ultra plan mode and I went to town with my second brain project called Slipbox. And yeah, I burned through all of my tokens until 9 p.m. Central Time. So about 2 more hours before I can get back on. So I switched to Codex. Sorry, the chat or the title of the video is still wrong, but oh, we got another guy in chat on Twitch. All right, man, people popping off. Again, if you can subscribe on YouTube, that would help me so much. I'm trying to get to 500. So like seriously, every sub means so much. But yeah, I got a question saying, have you used Cursor? You know, I did. I had a friend last fall finally convinced me to try it. I tried it. I was already big on Claude Code at that point, so I was very biased, and I couldn't get too into it. I don't like the style. I also have the same complaints with anti-gravity from Google. I love using an IDE like JetBrains stuff and then just using a terminal in it to talk to Claude or Codex. But for some reason, the Visual Studio Code like skins with cursor and stuff just always threw me off. Like I could never track what it was doing. I don't know. I don't want to complain about it. It just wasn't my style. I do like the new apps though. Like I don't use them as much, but like I do think that's the future. I know a lot of people say they go hardcore into, terminals or whatever UIs, but I think the actual Codex app and the clones, because like now I think Theo from T3 has his own, and I think JetBrains, IntelliJ, those guys, they actually came out with one, but it's only for corporations, businesses, I think, and they all look the same. They're all and anti-gravity from Google went from being an IDE, which they still have, it's called anti-gravity IDE now, to a app like that where you can see your chat history, but it's essentially programming by chat. You don't look at the code very much. A lot of people miss the IDE. Sorry if I missed a bunch of your questions, guys. All right, this finished, so I will go back to the chat after I kick off something new, but verification passed. All right, so sounds like it's good with the plan. So we're gonna go ahead and just commit and push. And then we're gonna probably, can I throw agents at this? I don't use Codex as much. Does Codex have agents? Does anybody know? Because what I kind of want to do is start implementing multiple features at once, now that we have the plan. Seems more efficient, $60 tier. Yeah, for sure. I'm sad that Fable is not going to be in the subscriptions. To me, that's a game changer. Like, if the new models are not going to be in the subscriptions, and they're going to be cost token API only, like, whew, that's a game changer. That's sad. People were complaining about $200 a month. I was complaining about $200 a month, and now it's going to be like no option to use Fable. People are going to be like, I'll pay $1,000, whatever, because actual token use is probably in the thousands every month, if you were to use those big models. But I personally do not have that kind of bankroll, so I have to use the subscription. All right, so here's the commit. Give me a second to find it on this screen. Oh, again with the wrong copy paste. All right, so here was our commit. So this is you know what? This is terrible. So I specifically switched to HTML. It doesn't put a lot of style into it. Open the GDD HTML locally. I specifically switched to it so it'd be more interactive and style plans and stuff. So I should actually just use that, because if you open it in GitHub, it looks like shit. You don't actually see HTML rendered. Mark my words, GitHub will have a solution for this. I know there's third-party plugins for Chrome and stuff, but I bet you GitHub is going to have a preview option here in the future, just like they do for Markdown. Yeah, it's kind of ugly. I need to do a pass on my tool that creates these plans to be like, hey, don't make it look like shit. Don't make it look like a 1990s website. But the point is, it's interactive. So this is our game plan broken out by section. We got our vision and pillars, table layout, physics simulation, controls. So if you guys have any questions about like what is this thing going to do, you can go look at the state leaderboards, and I'm just spot checking it, but this should mention VibeKit. If I can find the key on this stupid keyboard. Vibe. Yeah, so server routes use VibeKit server rate limit helpers. Yeah. VibeKit storage helpers with Zod validation. All that's coming from my little framework that I built. We need to stop focusing on making the model smarter and focus on how to make LLMs cheaper without sacrificing how good they are. You know, one thing I've been working on, actually, it's not really ready for prime time, but it's a benchmarking tool for my Mac, and I'm using all the new coding open weight models and seeing like how legit they are for actual development. And I just think they're always going to be behind these newer models, of course, but are they good enough? You know, like, can I vibe code a pinball game with them? So I'm not quite ready to prove or disprove that yet, but working on a bunch of benchmarks and evals to have a little more of a scientific take on how those open weight models doing. But who was it just released the Nemotron? Was that Google or NVIDIA? I don't even remember. But yeah, I started benchmarking it. They're not great. They're not great, but are they good enough is really the question. Have any of you guys ever tried the open weight models from Hugging Face? You can use them with Codex or open code or any harness like that. Can't use them with Claude Code without some hacks. Alrighty, I'm gonna clear the context token usage. I just used 400,000 tokens, by the way, output. Or no, that's total. Output's only 35,000. Yeah, who cares about input? That's not that much. I know a guy who uses 1 billion tokens a day. Like, seriously. He runs every prompt 5 times, I think. Like, reviews. All right. The reason I cleared, because I want it to go. Let's do agent. Yes, you do have agent. Okay. Switch the active agent thread. I'm just going to say use sub agents to start to implement tasks and loop until we have a playable game. Terrible prompt, I know. I actually have a skill that helps with looping, but I just want to see what it does out of the box. It might use my skill, it might not. Sorry, YouTube. The reason I don't get your chats right away is because it's actually broke on my browser. Oh, now it's good. But yeah, it just keeps disconnecting. But I did see that one. What game are you making? I'm making a pinball game right now. I know it says I'm using Fable. I use my tokens already, so I'm actually using Codex. Don't be mad. Yeah, if you like the channel, subscribe, and I will definitely make a video on Fable as soon as I get my tokens. All right, so this game I just opened up. This is the plan. This is I use something called Spiral. It's a little framework I made that breaks down the entire game plan into these different sections in the game design doc. And goes beyond that. It actually has a component kit called Vibe Kit. All this is available here on my GitHub. GitHub.com, Randroid.dev, all free. Clone it. A friend of mine cloned my my fracking Asteroids game, and he made it way better. So yeah, go ahead and steal these. I don't care. But yeah, here's this game. This is the intro where you're like a total badass. Sorry, that's probably really loud. Yeah, I've been thinking more about this game. I actually sent Claude off to do some, like, implement a galaxy map and stuff, but hasn't. I got distracted, like, doing some refactors. But yeah, I have plans for this game that I'm just not quite fleshed out yet. But I was thinking about turning it into more of an exploration game and, like, trying to get back to this state where you're like a total badass. You have all these upgrades. But this guy right here, he takes all my power at the start, and then I have to, like, work my way back up. But the grind of, like, mining asteroids is kind of boring right now. So I was thinking of adding more of you got to get minerals in order to travel, you know, to different galaxies. I don't know. Let me know if you guys got any ideas for making this better. But yeah, this is just the tutorial, so intro and then tutorial, a little repetitive, so not super fun, but also it's better on touchscreen. It's dual stick on touchscreen. It kind of sucks on mouse and keyboard. But yeah, pick stuff up, and then you go and you buy, you sell everything, and then you can buy like better fire boost rate, and then it's more fun. Oh, and then I drive through for an upgrade, and then boom, tutorial done. And then if I try to mine this, I'm not supposed to be able to, but that's broken. Yay. Anyways, my friend's version of this, much better. I always forget his, there it is. I always forget his name, but his is called Fracking Fracker. Much better audio. Let me know if this is too loud. Same intro, except better art style, better weapons. See these missiles shooting off of it? Isn't that sick? Look at the graphics. So he took the same game and he just put his artistry into it. Oh, I died. I died in the intro. I think that was the intro. But in his intro, maybe it's broken. Let's go back. Restart run. Quit the title. Let's do a new game. Start run. Oh, whatever. His has like a robot voice in it, which I definitely want to steal. Yeah, I don't know if that's here. Achievements. He's got all kinds of stuff. He's got a little mini map. Oh, this guy. Yeah, this is an arbiter. Okay, I forgot. This is a save I already did, so it's pretty advanced. But the intro, his intro is really cool because it has a robot voice in it. Fracking Fracker. Even better name than mine. Jeez. All right, let's see what this guy's doing with agents. Okay, so he's using feature branches, or sorry, that's just a branch, but it actually use a work tree is what I want to know. I was hoping I could do multiple agents on the same branch, but because there's enough work to do to kind of set this game up, but we'll see. What did it decide to do? It's delegating one bounded task to an agent. Cool. Let me see if I can pull up my agents. Again, I'm in Codex at the moment. Agent. All right, so I only have two. I have a main and I have a explorer. Let's go to the explorer. Explorer, what are you working on, buddy? Inspect the latest VibeKit release. I think there's a 3.0. Maybe I didn't publish it, but I was working on a 3.0. From GitHub, and report the correct package dependency string. So this is just literally setting up the framework. Inspected dependency string. Yes, it needs next transpile packages, blah, 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 blah. And then does it, how do I get out of this? Escape it to go to previous message. No, maybe I just do it like this. It's totally different in Claude Code. It's like down or something. All right, so now he got his answer and the main guy is coding it up. This looks like what? Oh, these are the rules. Sweet. So max of 3 balls is a pinball game. If you missed that part. Cool. It's starting to build it. So we'll have something to view any minute now. You'll see the first awkward UI that it's going to build. But then we'll tweak it. We'll put our artistry into it. Not as good as my friend. He's an actual artist. I'm a vibe artist. I'm a fraud. I got another guy on Twitch. What's up, OC Wiz? Working on Godot. I did a whole fork of Godot where I added some automation tools to work better with Claude. This is months ago now. Kind of abandoned it and switched to full native web because just the agents are just so much better at these libraries. It's insane. It's unfair. Me coming from Android, Kotlin world. I mean, a full stack. I do everything now for work and stuff, but my passion was in Android for many years, hence the name of the channel, Randroid. But I hated web. I hated web so bad. I hated JavaScript, TypeScript I like, but the agents, the models are just so tuned for the web world. Like, I made a stream. There's a stream. You can go find it. You can find a short for it. Hopefully, if we haven't made a short for that, Santiago, my video editor, by the way, if you haven't done a short for that, that'd be a great one. But if you can find one of those early clips where I was doing Frogger, I think I ended up switching them. That was actually Unreal. So I did Godot. The Godot games were trash. And then I switched to trying to get Unreal to work. It was just as hard with the agents. And so on stream, you could see I had put like 48 hours into like the most basic Frogger clone ever, vibing it and putting the framework around the agent to build it, and the fork around the Unreal plugin and everything. And then I said, you know what? all this work and the game is still shit. Watch me go one-shot it for web. And I did. I opened up another Claude. I said, make me a Frogger clone web native. You choose the libraries, and it did it just like that. And it fucking worked, and it was beautiful. And I was just like so pissed. I was like, okay, I'm done. No more game engines. We're going web native. Yeah, on Twitch they're talking about spending $150 trying to create a Jackbox style game. Got an artist to make it look not vibe coded. That's the key. That's the key. Pay your artists, people. I'm not representing that very well right now, but I'm also not selling any games. I'm just trying to play it out and see what I can build, find the fun in something. If I do ever release something, it's going to be open source for sure. You can find all these frameworks and stuff that I'm building off of on my repo. I'm really just in it for the love of the vibe game. I want to see how far I can take this stuff. All right, so it's doing a smoke test because that's part of my spiral methodology. The one downside to having such a framework with all the ledgers of open questions and everything that I have in Spiral is that it's slower, it's more methodical, using more tokens, but it's kind of boring for streaming. So I do a lot of that for my phone, and then I'll just like come in the next day and I'll stream it for you guys, and it'll be like half done or whatever. But this one, I really wanted to see how much I can get done while we're all together on the stream. So it's running locally. It actually looks like something. Here it is. This is our first shot. Yeah, cool. Left, right, let me see, keyboard, nudge. All right, so WASD, okay, cool. Oops, I'm highlighting, I think that doesn't like that. Interesting, so A is left, D is nothing. Oh, L, AL, okay, interesting. Shift or AL for flippers. Okay, the two shifts, interesting. I usually play most of my games on mobile anyways, but for stream, here we are, pressing the shift buttons. Interesting choice, Codex, interesting choice. Never played a game where you had to press both shift keys on a keyboard. So start, launch. I already hate this HUD. Let's start, cool, there's the ball, let's launch it. Where's the spring? I wanted the spring. Why is it a launch button? I said don't do a button. I want physics. All right, so it actually launched it. And I have to hit start again. Okay, it just keeps falling back. Oh, it fell through. Okay. All right, got some problems here. So if you guys watched the stream 2 days ago, I built a tool actually to review, for the LM to review its own code. It's called Vibe Review. I might have to have it go review this because this is garbage. All right, let's go check in with Codex and see what it's trying to do. Okay, I think it's just trying to play test like with a repeatable smoke test just to make sure it can launch the ball and whatnot. But we might have to give it a little feedback. So when oops, not all caps, not trying to yell at Codex and get mad at me. When I launch the ball, it goes mostly straight up and down. It also falls through the right side crack. We need it to slope to the left. Something like that. I got gifted some Jones sodas recently. I haven't had these in forever. This is the guys that do every single bottle gets a different picture on it. So you can submit pictures. America. Fruit punch. All right, it says it sees the behavior. Cool, so it doesn't really need my vibe tool, but Here it is, just in case. I'm going to go ahead and create a new project for it anyways. So if we go Vibe Pinball, open, cool. I have no idea what the shortcut would be on this other keyboard. We can go try though. Let's give it a shot. Not that one. Problem is I set up all these desktops and then I don't use them. So like this should not have... Okay, this could be the terminal, that's fine. Here it is, okay. Beautiful. Let's try it. It's like this and R. Nope. R. R. Ooh, there we go. Asking for permissions. I'm going to cancel that. Open that. It basically does screenshots, grabs game state and Chrome or Dia in my case, logs, and you can add a note. So like, for example, we can say, this looks like shit. Let's see if we can do that. There we go. Okay. Oh, it's the wrong desktop. Wah wah. It's supposed to go where the keyboard is. Yeah, failed. So I'm gonna have to fix that. What terminal program is that? Someone asks on YouTube. Max Zillion. It's Warp. So it's technically got some AI in it that I don't really use. It's got its own remote control. This is more like old school Doom coding. Old school as in like January, where it just SSHs in from a web page. So like you just load up Chrome on your phone and go to warp.whatever with some UUID, and then you can access your terminal. Rich input is kind of helpful if you want to paste stuff, but it's not very useful, honestly. File Explorer, you can look at Diff for code, but you can't navigate code. So when I really want to read the code, I'm usually in an IDE. Otherwise, this is like half measures. I mean, I guess you could do this, but you can't. Like the main thing I do in an editor, right, is like, let's say I go to TSX and I want to see, get some room here, and I want to see where something else is declared. HUD state, for example, is from types. So I want to see this type. How do I get to it? Can I, maybe they added a feature. Let's see. Can I control click it? No. What about the imports? Can I go to the library code? Can I go, so like I can't jump to any of this, right? Which is like the main thing I need out of an editor. So if anyone from Warp is watching, just go one step further with your IDE, or sorry, with your terminal, with the diff tool, and let me jump to source. Like that's my number one thing. Do you do huge spec files first? Yes. So I just showed that earlier. I have a whole framework called Spiral, and it produces a game design doc in HTML like this. It's kind of ugly on the eyes. I need to make it more pretty. But oh, that's Daniel said that. 99497. Damn, you guys are coming out of the woodworks today. If you're on Twitch, I'm also on YouTube, Randroid's Dojo. I would love a sub. I'm trying to get to 500. I know it's ridiculous. It's such a small number, but it's harder than you think. Yeah, this is my spec file. It's a game design doc. I actually went to school for game design, so it doesn't mean I'm good at it. I'm not. I just built this on stream. I had Codex because I'm out of Claude tokens, if you're wondering why the stream is named Claude Fable 5. And I'm using Codex, but I had Codex ask me a bunch of questions about the game, and I told it to use my framework. So, well, first I initialized the documentation framework, Spiral, and then I told it to use my web components in another library called VibeKit. All of this is open source. You can find it on Randroid's Dojo, a Dojo repo in GitHub. Please fork it. Please use it. Star it. Do whatever you want with it. It's yours to use. But yeah, VibeKit's here. It's got things like leaderboards, just like small reusable components that work in web native games. These are all my games. You can actually play them on Randroid.dev, which I seem to have closed. But yeah, most of this is straight vibe coded. This is my racing game. I'm not gonna do this. I do this every stream. I just start going through all my games. But yeah, check it out if you want. Oh, I didn't show you the other thing. Skills. So under skills, there's something called Where is it? Slipbox, by the way, is my second brain that I was showing earlier. Spiral, HTML. There's two versions. One does Markdown, one does HTML. I'm experimenting with HTML. People say it's the new Markdown, so I'm trying. Task tracking, so that's a piece of it, but I mostly use this now, Spiral, which this skill, it does the init of all those docs I showed earlier. And I call it a spiral because you're moving forward, but you're iteratively checking boxes, going through the method, going through like the different ledgers, they're called, like open questions, and just did I update the game design doc to track progress? You know, like there's all these steps that it follows to iterate. And then also in that same skills is my loop. I built this one. Ralph loops were like really popular. I built one that will completely go through your backlog. And it's all under Randroid, commands, loop. And then comment skill here, address PR comments. I always have CodeRabbit on when I am working from my phone. I put up PRs and CodeRabbit does the first pass. It runs all the CI, the smoke tests and stuff, and then it can just merge it. And well, it's self-sufficient that way. I don't have to look at it. It can run for 2 days. And vibe review. All right, this guy's still going. The only mismatch I see in the progress log. So yes, checking all the logs. That's another one. I can never remember the name of the ledgers, but that's one of them. I have a quick vid of the pathfinding. Yeah, send it over, man. I'll check it out. Yeah, if you guys ever want to like send over your projects, your code, your whatever, I will pop it up on stream, review it. Hell, I'll do a pull request. I don't care. You're gonna make me make some C++? Yeah, I was just compiling some Zig earlier in another window, but I won't do that right now. All right, better not get pwned clicking this link. Got it. Okay. Did not get rickrolled. Do you guys know what that is? Am I old? So this is someone on Twitch chat. I'm dual streaming right now. Multi-streaming. Oops. Somehow I keep using the... So I'm on a backup keyboard at the moment, so I keep hitting the wrong keys. Sorry. I don't know if there's audio. Let's see. Oh, I like the... It's got SimCity font is my first thought. That's total SimCity font, right? Am I crazy? He says the game looks way different now. This is the prototype. Oh, you got Windows dragging. That's legit. You did all this in C++. Did you use frameworks for the HUD at all, for the GUI? Or is all this just like you came up with it? Daniel, who was asking about the spec files, also, this is on YouTube, asked about, he said, I recently tried PyDev. It lets me do custom extensions on the fly. I've heard good things about Pi. I've not tried it myself yet. What kind of extensions are you talking about, Daniel? So what am I looking at here? This is an NPC. Vito Russo. Is it an NPC? Is he on a subway? Do you have subways? This is New York City, right? That's pretty cool, man. I like the style. I know it's all just bits and stuff, but I do like the style. Like I said, it reminds me of SimCity. Image UI is what the framework's called for C++. Cool. It follows the road there, which is just a grid, but now it is the full map road network of NYC. That's awesome. Yeah, I've been wanting to come back to an old game idea that I had. I actually did my senior project on it in school, but it's called Road Trip, and you're basically taking a trip from California to New York, and I wanted it to be like the real interstates that you would take with the real exits, and I wanted it to be like in real time. And the mechanics of that game, I don't know if I'd do something different now, but it was like, do you guys know, oh my god, I forget the name now, Schedule 1 on Steam, where you're like a drug dealer? I've never played it, but it sounds cool. It was kind of like that. It was like a GTA, but on the road. You're doing a road trip and you would get off on exits and you would pick up some kind of contraband for cheap, and then you would wait for an exit where it was selling for higher, and you get off and sell it, and then you get gas money and you keep going. Dumb concept, but like the idea of it being like a full interstate across the US, I don't know, you just reminded me of that by putting your whole New York City in here. That's cool. Very cool. I love to see it, guys. And this is, you said not vibe coded, but you use AI in your workflow. I would like to know more about what you mean there. I think I know what you mean. I use it AI at work and I don't vibe code, so I kind of get it. All right, so this finished playable path issue. Okay, so we need to actually play it. It's going to open up in the wrong window again. I'm just going to go here and refresh myself. All right, moment of truth. It just added a block here so it won't slide down. What a hack, man. Codex here trying to be ultra efficient. All right, so space should launch it. It is not. Oh, start. That's such a weird, that starts such a weird thing. Oh, okay, I see. So this prevents it from falling back down. I guess Pinball does have that, but the fact that it can clip through it, that's just stupid. Oh my God, is it floating? It's almost a game, guys. Have you ever played that Space Cadet or whatever it's called? Pinball on Windows? I don't know if they still have it, but Windows XP, Windows Millennium. I don't know if 95 had it. That's so glitchy. It's like on a rail or something, and then it just gets stuck. All right, let's use our tool. Oh, I can't because it's taking screenshots on the wrong screen. Dang it. Yeah, I must have plugged my monitor. I must have plugged my monitors in different or something than when I originally coded that tool. I'm gonna fix this. CD. Oh, I keep using the wrong keyboard. CD vibe review. No, autocomplete. Help me. YouTube says, I try giving it images as inspiration. Results can look more fresh without default GPT look. Sound Dev Ed says, what do you make it? Pinball. We're vibing Pinball. We're going to use Claude, but I ran out of tokens, so we're using Codex. But I'm also getting distracted like I always do. I'm fixing a bug in my other tool. So here we go. YOLO. The screenshots are for the wrong desktop again. I need them to be wherever I have my cursor. All right, you go figure that out. Vibe Pinball. Go ahead and commit, I guess. What should we work on next? We can ask it what to work on next, but clearly there's a ton of work to do. What do we want to tackle first? It's got a high score here. It's pretty garbage. The HUD is garbage. 2 out of 3 targets tilt launch percent. Honestly, I'm kind of annoyed by the glitching through the different components. Like, come on, figure out your 3D models. Like, what is this even supposed to be? Is the green on top or the blue on top? Is it translucent? I don't know. Also, this is not even the right spacing of the flippers. Like, the ball's supposed to be able to go down the middle, right? I mean, everybody hates when that happens, but technically it's supposed to. Also, wouldn't it be lower? But yeah, that's a great idea. Who said that? Daniel? Give an image for inspiration. Yeah, let's do it. Pinball machine classic. I don't know. Let's look at an old one, like a wooden one. Wooden. Whoa, that was really old. That's like Plinko. That's a Plinko board right there. Maybe this is too old school. Oh, that is pretty high. Wait, are the flippers backwards on that? Can you see that? Ah, it's YouTube. Oh, wait, hold on. Scroll down. There we go. It is, right? It's like you can fall to the middle, but then the flippers, I've never seen that. It's kind of cool. Yeah, maybe this is too old school. Maybe I should just look for more modern. Oh, can you imagine having something vintage like this? It's pretty sick. That's all metal too. Wait, are they selling this? That's pretty cool. All right, let's not go that old school then. Pinball machine. 90s maybe? Ooh. Is that Atari? That sounds like an Atari font. eBay. Wow. Don't know what's going on there. Back. You get a really good shot overhead. You can actually see all the details, like the flippers. Mars Attack. I remember this one. Don't know this one. It's going to be hard to find images that are like, you know, the perspective you would see if you're actually standing over it, huh? Royal Rumble. WWF. Old school. If anyone has any good links. Simpsons. I'm sure I played this one. What happened to the other angle? Here? Okay, there we go. Okay, we can do this. This one's good. Copy image. All right, so let's have it break this down into a, what's the best way to do this? A mermaid diagram? Into some like, I wanted to do like a blueprint, you know, like take this image and say, I want you to architect where all the components are, what elevation they are, what materials they are. Committed and push. I left docs reviews untracked because it only contains generated local review screenshots. Oh yeah, that's right. That's fine. Clear. The game looks like shit. I want you to make a blueprint slash architecture slash components decomposition of a real pinball board that we can use as inspiration for ours. It needs to be physically accurate. Use this. I hate that stupid new feature where it copies whatever I highlight, and I hate not knowing the keyboard shortcut. All right, let's see if we can do this. I don't know if it knows exactly what I'm trying to say here with this component decomposition, but the good thing about agents, about models, is they can interpret my crazy ideas a lot better than humans. It doesn't make for a very good YouTube stream, I'll admit that, but if I can just get my thoughts out, it will be able to kind of make sense of it, hopefully. I found the repo is already on a feature branch. Why are we on a feature branch, by the way? I don't know. Is there a way, does anyone know in Codex if there's a way to customize what shows up down here, like there is in Claude, where you can say what branch you're on, how many tokens or how much context you have remaining? Because this doesn't say branch anywhere, does it? It says main right here, actually, so it's lying to me. Maybe it switched. $1.5 hours, and then I can get back on Claude. Can't believe that. $200 gone like that. To be fair, it was just a 5-hour window, and I did start it. I started at like 6. I don't know. It's probably still in the business hours, the peak hours. GDD rules require new section files to be linked from the index, and ledger edits must be append only. So I'm talking about having this framework. It's like it slows you down a bit, but it also makes things not just like completely degrade over time. You know, if you ever vibe coded a project and it just gets useless after a day or whatever, something like this might help you. But yeah, when you're just trying to do fast iteration, find the fun, it's a lot slower. Imagine if I was working. See, what I would probably do for my phone is I'd work on another thing at the same time. But imagine that. I'm already super hyper. Can you imagine me talking about 2 projects at once? Speaking of, Vibe Review, fix the display, treating, okay, is it installed? Is the fixed version, actually, you know what? I don't have to ask, because if you actually open this, oh, hold on a second. All right, my junior engineer is here. My intern. Say hello. All right, I'm gonna have to head out soon, but I was just showing you this tool. This is a native Mac app. It will tell you if it's out of date. What you want? Funny enough, yeah, see, it's out of date. Version 7 is available. Reinstall yourself. What do you want? You're not feeling well? Sunshine. Yeah, the sun's going down. You want to sit in the window, huh? Oh no, I gotta put in my password. Do you know my password, baby? Do you know it? Oh, I have it open over here. My passwords are so strong, I don't even know them. Let's see. Boom. Cool. All right, let's see if Codex did anything with that image we gave it. Still thinking. I have the key file references and line numbers. Blueprint is now ready. Beautiful. How do I view it? Open. Sweet. Hmm? There it is. There's our spec. I kind of wanted it to be more visual, but you know. All right, well, I'm gonna have to call it here. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you can, subscribe on YouTube. I will try to do another one of these, and I will actually use Fable next time. But thank you guys. Appreciate it.